Hi, I'm Cassie, and today I'm reading part of one of my books that I wrote like a cozy bedtime story. Nothing fancy, I'm not a professional voice actor, I'm not an audiobook reader, I'm an author. And I want to share with you my story how I would read it. My dog might bark, my kids might laugh in the background, I might laugh at my own characters. And this is simply me hanging out with you, enjoying part of a good story. Yeah, are you ready? Let's jump right in. Hey everyone, welcome to a little reading time with author Cassie. I am so excited to join you today and share a special treat. So I have a free novelette that I send out to all my newsletter subscribers. It's one of those sweet small town cowboy kind of romances, you know, where she is a movie star and he's a cowboy, kind of little love stories. And I only have it available for my newsletter subscribers. So you can't get it any other way except for today. I'm going to read you chapter 1 so you can get a little bit of a taste of love on Abernathy Lane. And it's really fun to share this chapter with you because it's not read by everybody, because you have to be exclusive to my newsletter to get the story. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, I don't have a physical copy because it is a freebie for my newsletter subscribers. I only have it as a digital file. So I'm going to have to be reading off my computer today, but I think it will still be fun. And I'm so excited to share this with you. All right, let's get started. Love on Abernathy Lane by Cassie M Shiels, or me. Here we go. Chapter 1. Rylee. And Rylee's my girl, just so you know. This is a story between Rylee and Will. And I know Rylee could be a boy or a girl name, so just heads up, Rylee's our girl. Anyway, here we go. Chapter 1. Rylee. Rylee gripped her steering wheel tightly. She flipped her hair over her shoulder and scanned the road behind her in her rearview mirror. She couldn't see anyone following her, but that didn't mean they weren't there. She assumed that people eventually grew accustomed to being chased. The idea of someone chasing you down dark streets was something most people feared, but that fear had long since passed for Rylee. Now she almost expected someone to jump out from the shadows, camera in hand, with a hidden microphone clipped onto their jacket. She could count on someone she didn't know accompanying her on dates or errands all day long, every single day. She might have gotten used to the paparazzi following her around, but things had abruptly changed and transformed into a whole different ballgame. A slew of paparazzi kept rushing after her, hoping to get the story of the year. She felt chased, not admired. She felt blamed, not loved. With clenched teeth, she pressed the gas pedal harder. She'd escaped them more than once in the last 2 days since they began their chase. It's possible for her to do it again. Rylee Jenkin drove her car even faster once the small town faded behind her, and she rushed down the little road in the middle of a wide expanse of fields. She'd lost most of the cars following her, but that didn't stop her from looking back every few minutes. Her breath still felt heavy, so she concentrated on slowing it down. Passing out right now in the driver's seat wasn't an option. She uncurled her fingers from the steering wheel and stretched them. Tumbleweeds blew past her in the light afternoon wind, and wild sunflowers swayed along the side of the road. If her research proved sufficient at all, then this would be the perfect place to lay low for a while. That is, if she had lost the paparazzi back in the small town of Stanhope Springs. A bright orange light on her dashboard flashed on, the check engine light. She pounded the dash, but it didn't flash off again like it had the last time. Come on, car, just a little further. You can't die on me now. She purchased the car from a gentleman off the internet the day before yesterday with the simple guarantee that it would drive. It lacked visual appeal, but suited her needs precisely. She had no idea how the paparazzi had figured out she'd changed cars and now drove this clunker. The road curved sharply, and 2 houses sitting kitty-corner from one another came into view. She checked her quickly scrawled list of landmarks. Only 2 more landmarks to go. With another look in the rearview mirror, showing no signs of another car on this dirt road, she finally felt her stomach unclench a little. It had taken 2 days of driving east, but in a matter of 20 minutes or less, she'd finally find some peace. Maybe now she'd have time to think about her dismal situation and figure out what to do with her mess of a life. With a loud crack and clang,
The car suddenly began to shake. "Oh, no, no, no." Her car shuddered, and something didn't sound right in the engine compartment. With a final bang and a hiss, the car slowed, and no matter how much she mashed the gas pedal, it wouldn't speed back up. She guided the cheap vehicle off the dirt road, and it quivered to a stop in the weeds. Rylee leaned forward and stared at the car that had given up on her. Steam, or was it smoke, spiraled up from the edge of the hood. She twisted the key, turning it off, and sent a prayer heavenward. With little hope, she turned the key again. An odd sound clanged from the engine, and she quickly turned the key to the off position again. With a loud groan, she tossed the keys onto the passenger seat. "Why does the world hate me?" she yelled to the happily waving sunflowers. "I didn't do anything wrong." The sound of tires crunching on the gravel road made her jump. She hunched down in the front seat and looked behind her, but because of the curve in the road, she couldn't see anything behind her. Darn it! Quickly, she grabbed her phone and black duffel bag and ripped the door open. She tossed the duffel bag on the hood of her car and bent to look around the corner. There were a few cars in the distance, but they were far enough away that they couldn't have made the sound she heard now. She turned to look forward instead and saw an older red truck with a trail of dust behind it barreling down the dirt road. If she believed in her maps, then that truck couldn't have come from town. The road dead-ended in the foothills of the mountain. There were only 2 houses surrounded by fields and a handful of cabins at the end of this road. With no other choice, and with a paparazzi on her tail, she grabbed her bag and started waving her hands wildly at the red truck. Thankfully, the truck slowed and stopped right beside her and her sorry excuse of a car. The window rolled down, and a young man wearing a cowboy hat, maybe a year or 2 older than her, stared out at her. "You're either incredibly lost or in some kind of trouble." "Trouble," she said, gesturing to her car and hitching her bag up higher on her shoulder. The sound of approaching cars began to fill her ears, and her stomach clenched back up. She didn't have time for a casual conversation. His eyebrows shot up at her reply, but he smiled a slow smile that made her wonder what he was really thinking. He whipped off his cowboy hat. "Sorry to hear that." His blue and gray plaid shirt was unbuttoned enough to show his white undershirt. His dark hair was still wet with sweat, probably from the black cowboy hat he held in his hand. She clenched her teeth as the sound of the cars approaching grew even louder. She didn't have time for questions. She needed a rescue, and she needed it now. "Listen, I'm trying to get to Milton's cabins. The address is 698 Abernathy Lane, and I'm kind of in a hurry." She held up the paper with her landmarks and the address for him to see as the sound of approaching cars intensified. "Why would a city girl like you want to go to Milton's cabins?" he asked, eyeing her up and down. "It's not what anyone would call a nice place." She tucked her long, light brown hair behind her ear. "Please, can you take me there?" She turned to look as the cloud of approaching dust grew closer. She was out of time, and the vultures had arrived. Without waiting for an answer, she crossed to the other side of the truck and climbed inside. His eyes narrowed at her when, instead of sitting in the seat, she hunched down under the dash. "Please don't let them know I'm in here. I'll pay you any amount you require." She put the duffel bag over her head. The crunching of car wheels sounded louder than ever, and she desperately hoped he was actually a good Samaritan and not some axe murderer. Her teeth clenched as the sound of his door opening and closing. Brakes sounded, and then sounds of many doors opening and closing echoed around her. She had no escape from the situation unless he helped her. "Excuse me," the cowboy said. "What are you all doing on my land?" Rylee bit her lip. "Have you seen her?" somebody asked. "We swear she came this way." Rylee gulped at the sound of the voice, a voice she'd know even in the darkest of corners. Connor Flint. "Seen who?" "Rylee Jenkins, of course. Look, that's her car in the weeds," Connor said. The familiar sound of a commotion broke out, and Rylee buried herself deeper under the dash. "Hey, nobody comes down this road without my permission. Abernathy Lane and the surrounding land is private property." "Then you have a trespasser hiding somewhere," Connor said. No, I have a bunch of trespassers right here. I have half a mind to turn you all over to the sheriff for trespassing on my land. Believe me, you don't want to mess with him. Your land? Don't you mean your father's land? Connor scoffed. No, I mean mine. I don't have Abernathy as a last name for no reason. Now get going, all of you, or the sheriff will hear from me. Riley's eyes flew open. He was trying to help her. Wait a moment. We got off on the wrong foot, perhaps, Connor said, adapting to his favorite fake interview voice. We were just looking for Rylee. Tell us where she is, and then we will go on our way. I assure you, I don't know of any other trespassers on my land but yourselves. You will turn around right now and get out of here, unless you are looking forward to a jail sentence or a hefty fine. Now, I have things to do, so clear the road. I'd appreciate it if you were quick about it. Fine, we're going. We wouldn't want to keep you from your busy schedule, unless you have a reason to return home so quickly that you don't want us to know about. Rylee could almost feel Connor stretching to look inside the truck. If Mr. Abernathy didn't do something, then Connor would find her. You are in my way. Turn around and get off my land now. You're making a mistake, Connor said. No, I am not. You are. I have your license plate memorized and the sheriff on speed dial. I'll give you 5 seconds to comply. 1. All right. Footsteps sounded and the car door slammed. If I find out you're hiding her, Connor began, you'll what? Trespass again and land yourself in jail? I told you before, I don't have any trespassers on my land other than the lot of you, Mr. Abernathy said. That you know of, Connor spat. Rylee listened to footsteps walking away and several cars turning around. The driver's side door opened and Rylee flinched, but recognized the nice cowboy. He slammed the door and his blue-gray eyes darted over to her briefly before he calmly put his hand on the wheel. I'd stay where you are, Miss Jenkins, he said, his fingers tapping the bottom of his steering wheel. A few of them are taking their time. I wasn't planning on moving. A ghost of a smile flickered on his lips. Smart girl. There you go. There you are. That is the first chapter of Love on Abernathy Lane. Again, this is just a really fun short story between a movie star and a cowboy, and it is only available for my newsletter subscribers, and so it's really fun to read chapter 1 for you guys as a special treat and share it with you. I hope that you enjoyed this time with me and that you'll come again and join me for a little reading time with author Cassie. We'll see ya.